We are underway with qualifying. Actually, I don't know if my mic's working. All right, now we are underway with qualifying here in the Netherlands. I think you guys should be able to hear me, right? Let me add the game audio in as well. You can hear me twice. That's not good. Then I will. Can you hear me once now? That should be fine. So East Groove in the Williams. All right. Thanks, guys, for helping out. East Groove in the Williams, the first one out of the pits and the first one who's going to start his lap here at Zandvoort, a track with 14 corners, 2 DRS zones, very famous for being the home of the Orange Army. But will it be a Red Bull driver who prevails today? We know that Welsh Jack, or we should call him Sweat His Ass Off, really good at this track, 7-9 in time trial. But could we possibly see someone challenge for pole? East Groove, 24-3, that will be a purple Sector 1. And I'm not showing him because I'm the Williams TP. I'm showing him because he was first out of pits. So, Twiffo, don't complain. Yeah, I'll fix the game audio then. Thanks for letting me know. East Groove, his Sector 2 time, 48.5. There's a Red Bull ahead of him, so maybe a little bit of traffic that he is going to face. But the Red Bull is going to let him by. I don't know if that slowed him down a bit. He's going to push through 13 and 14 to the line. And I will fix the audio in just a second. It's going to be a 10-1, not a stunning first lap for the Williams driver. Weezy taking provisional pole with a 109.6, and Broxy in the AlphaTauri takes that right from him with a 9.4. Everyone out on track right now except Orlando. And Fridge in the Alpine, who just got a seat just yesterday in the Alpine with an 8.7. It's the fastest we've seen across all 3 tiers, subtitled with a 10.1. And Rexy just crossing the line with a 9.5. Let's take a look who's going to be nearing the line. Inertia just starting his line. Degimaster invalidated Trixjans with a 24.3. Sector 1. Who is that? Kantz taking P2 with a 9.4. And Welsh Jack bested by Fridge. And then in the McLaren, a reserve Rom Bford taking P2. Never seen him before. 8.9. And Trixjan's pushing to the line now. His Aston Martin teammate ahead of him, Tom. And Tom goes 8th fastest. Trixjan's goes 5th fastest in the Aston Martin. Not bad for those two. Let's take a look. Rexy with a 5-place grid penalty for a collision with Fridge. Adam in the Alfa Romeo just starting his lap now. Jamie as well. Orlando still in the pits. Let's go on board with Inertia. I'm not sure. I believe this is an aborted lap from Inertia. He's got a Mercedes right behind him. That is subtitled. Let's ride on board with Jamie. Jamie, a 24.2 first sector. So not that fast, but up there with the likes of Tom, maybe Trixjans. As we see people start to pile into the pits, the first run of quali is nearing an end. 48.1 for Jamie in the Mercedes. 2 corners remaining now for him as he's pushing down to the line. He's got an Aston Martin behind him on an in-lap and an Alfa Romeo in front of him on an in-lap as well, I believe. Or no, that's Adam. Adam goes second fastest with an 8.8. Jamie goes seventh fastest with a 9.3. So the reserves are kind of lighting it up right now. 2 and 3 for Adam and Beeford, respectively. Both out of Welsh Jack and AQ Flow still. And Inertia and Orlando, only ones yet to set a time now. Deggy Master sets a non-competitive 29.2. Orlando using a bit of the free air that he's going to be able to get now. That's an Aston Martin out on the track as well. I think that's Trixjan's in Sector 1. And then he's got Alfa Romeo on an in-lap behind him. Jamie and his teammate on an in-lap as well, I believe. He's going to let his teammate by. Same thing with Adam. And he's going to wait up for Jamie as well. I would be P10, just saying. Yeah, that's cool, but no one asked. And Inertia coming back out of the pits already as well. Same with his teammate East Groove. You can see them in Sector 2 now. We're going to ride on board with Orlando for his qualifying lap. He's going to be 17th to put in a lap time, barring a disqualification. Deggy Master still out of the pits. The former Williams driver currently sits P16 with a 10.7 on 3-lap old softs, so not really a competitive time either. And yeah, so Rex is going to be starting from 5 places down where he is in the pecking order right now. That would mean P15 for him, 24.4 for Orlando. So not that fast, about on the same pace as I think East Groove was earlier. East Groove, I'm sure, still with quite a bit of time in his lap. Let's take a look at him. He's just starting his lap as well. Let's see if he can improve in Sector 1 in the Williams. Couple drivers starting to come out of the track now. Orlando really using all of that fresh air that he can take, but there's not going to be much left for East Groove as he pushes up to the Sector 1 timing line. It's going to be a 24.3, so not improving by much. See Orlando about to cross the line. What will he be able to achieve? It'll be P13 for the Haas, demoting his teammate down a place with a 9.7. Here comes East Groove in Sector 2. Inertia out on a hot lap as well. And there's going to be a Red Bull ahead of him. He's going to move out of the way. East Groove is up 3/10, but that won't really be enough for anything. He might be able to jump Zach unless he finds some more time in this last sector here. It's going to be disappointment for East Groove as he rounds the bend of turn 14, and he's going to cross the line in front of his teammate. It's going to be a 9.4 for East Groove. That puts him up into P9. That is not bad at all. Inertia is going to cross the line. He's going to go P14 with a 9.6. He's going to just jump Orlando, but he's 1/10 of a second behind Tom. Let's take a look at Welsh Jack. Welsh Jack's taking provisional pole with an 8.6. B Ford out on a lap as well in the McLaren. He's up 1/10 through Sector 1. If he keeps that up, he could steal provisional pole from the Ferrari. This is short quality, guys. This is short quality. I don't know what's confusing about this. And the McLaren crosses into Sector 2, and he's up almost 2/10 now. That would be enough to put him in P3. You need to make up a little bit more time to be on the front row. Can he pull that off in this last sector here? Adam on an out lap as well. Fridge and Welsh Jack. Fridge on a hot lap. Welsh Jack on an in lap. B Ford is going to cross the line. It's going to be an 8.7 for him. So P3, he's lost a bit of time in Sector 2. Let's see Fridge in the Alpine here. Will he be able to improve? And he crosses the line with a 24.1. He's down almost 2/10 here, so he's not going to be able to improve. Welsh Jack on an in lap. And AMS Patrick has joined the session as well. He's still in the pits. He's going to be coming out soon in the Ferrari to accompany Welsh Jack. Now sub up 2/10 of a second at 24.5, but that's still one of the slowest Sector 1s we've seen all day in the Mercedes. I think Jamie's about to cross the line. Let's take a look at him. Jamie up 4/10 through Sector 1. Could he try his luck on the front row? And he does skyrocket up 5 places with a 108.664. And he's going to accompany Welsh Jack on the front row. Provisionally 7.5 minutes remaining of qualifying. Can AQ Flow pull something off here? Or Trixjans, maybe Trixjans up 4/10 as well. He's going to cross the line if he can keep that pace up. He could also see himself on the front row. Trixjans is going to be P5 for him. Very competitive in the top 6 at the moment. Only 2/10 separate Welsh Jack down to Adam. Now AQ Flow rounding these last bends, had to overcorrect there on the exit of 12. And I don't think this is going to be fast enough for anything. Maybe it's an in lap. Actually, I'm not even sure. Yeah, it's going to be an in lap for the Red Bull. Kant's up 3/10 through. That is, no, that was just his last lap that he was able to improve on. Sorry, Rexy out on the pits. He's gone an in lap as well. Broxy on an in lap. So a lot of people coming out of the pits. The Ferraris, though, coming out of the pits. Patrick is going to be the first one out ahead of his teammate, Welsh Jack. So could the Ferraris possibly muster a 1-2 here at the Netherlands? Let's see what kind of pace Patrick has here. We haven't seen him in action, or at least I haven't seen him in action, so can't really comment on that yet. That's an Aston Martin that's going to go into the pits there. And Deggy Master on an in lap, Sub on an in lap, Orlando on an out lap, I think. Maybe it's just a slow lap. I think he's starting a hot lap now. Tom on an in lap. So it's going to be very clear, very clean track. 6 minutes remaining for these two Ferraris to do their thing. I believe that, yep, okay. So the Haas stayed out. So it's the two Haas's and the two Ferraris. Ferrari-powered circuit at the moment as Patrick crosses the line, followed closely behind by Welsh Jack, but a bit far back so as to not impede on him. Let's take a look at what Patrick can do. There's going to be a Williams that's going to be inertia coming out of the pits. Going to let the two Ferraris blow by. Ferrari sandwich at the moment. AMS Patrick with no time. He joined a bit late in the session. It's going to be a 24-1, 24-2. That's really fast, actually. Jack with a 24 flat. He's improving as well. So we could potentially see these two Ferraris near the front of the grid. AMS Patrick only a couple tenths down to his teammate, who is known for being the best qualifier in the league even. And Orlando moving up to P13, I think that was, with a 9.6. AMS Patrick with a 48.2. Welsh Jack around that time as well. I didn't quite catch that, but AMS Patrick going to be the first one to the line. So Haas going into the pits, and so he will not be indicated by anyone. What will his time be? AMS Patrick steals P10, and Welsh Jack improves by over a tenth to get an 8.47 here in quali, and he extends his advantage by 2/10. Inertia alone on the track. There is a AlphaTauri, that's Broxy as well, I believe, on a hot lap or an out lap, either or. Inertia currently sitting P16, looking to improve in that Williams. And that's a Red Bull coming out of the pits as well, around where Broxy was. Inertia 24.3, up a couple hundredths through Sector 1. And clipping the curb there just a little bit. Down this back straight he goes, and he goes onto the grass. That's going to compromise his lap. And he's lost a couple tenths there. So that's not going to be a good lap for him. Broxy's up 2/10 through Sector 1. That's going to be a 24-1. East Groove out of the pits as well. He's currently sitting in P12. He has one more chance to make a mark here. And Broxy losing a bit in Sector 2, but he's still up 2.5 tenths. That would put him in P9 ahead of Rexy. Oh, and the AlphaTauri lodges it into the gravel, and he's gone into the wall there, so his lap time will be aborted, and that could have rocketed him up a couple places, and now he's at risk of East Groove behind. Only a couple hundred slower than him, possibly overtaking him. Rexy coming out of the pits, Adam coming out of the pits. Let's take a look at Zach as well, I believe, on a hot lap at the moment. Zach, yeah, starting sector 1. Eastgroove starting his lap as well. That is a Mercedes out of the pits. That's going to be Jamie. Subtitled still in the pits. Zach currently in the penultimate position, only ahead of Degamaster. He needs to improve. It will be a 24-3, so it is an improvement. Let's take a look at Eastgroove. If he can muster anything in Sector 1, it's a 24-2. He's up 1/100th of a second. Let's go right back to Zach. See what he can do as he guns it down this back straight in the Red Bull, trying possibly to match his teammate AQ Flow, and he's up 2/10 to 48. What about Eastgroove? He's pushing it down the back straight as well. It's a 48-1. He's up 2/10 of a second. So Zach's going to cross the line first. Is he going to be able to jump anyone? At the moment, he would be up into P17, so not a big advantage, but it would still be a remarkable one. Up to P18. He stays in P18. Eastgroove about to cross the line now. Let's see if he can improve. It will be P9 for Eastgroove with a 109.1. Inertia back out on the track. Not sure if he's on Warden tires. Rexy on a hot lap as well, and Jamie on a hot lap. Let's actually go to Jamie in the Mercedes, just about starting his hot lap, and the track is full now. Nobody is in the pits. Everybody on an out lap, hot lap, or in lap. And Jamie needs to make up 2/10 if he wants to steal pole from Welsh Jack. Yellow flags all across the track. Bunch of cars going slowly here. Very little time remaining in qualifying. Only 30 seconds, and Jamie losing a couple hundredths of a second through Sector 1. What about Fridge? Fridge looks like he's about to cross the line. Adam retires from the session. He's not going to be able to take provisional pole. I think Fridge just starting his hot lap as well. So Jamie gunning it down the back straight here now. Only a couple seconds left. He's going to take the checkered flag, and he sets a purple Sector 2, but he's still losing 1/100th of a second compared to his best lap time. And let's take a look at Ford. Ford starting his lap. Trixjan starting his lap. And Jamie, will it be enough, or will he only be able to extend his advantage in P2? Jamie crosses the line with a 108.7. Not enough to improve. He takes the checkered flag. So do a couple other people. B Ford still in the running as well. So is Trixjan's. Inertia on a lap as well. This is going to be a mad dash to the line. Rexy retiring. So Rexy's going to start from at best P15. And Trixjan steals provisional pole. Trixjan's in the Aston Martin. Steals provisional pole from Welsh Jack by 4/100ths of a second. And B Ford not improving. Welsh Jack down 2/100ths of a second through Sector 1. And he is up 8/100ths of a second. If he keeps this up, he will take provisional pole back from Trixjan's. And then it'll only be Fridge, possibly AQ Flow, to try and stop him. Inertia up to P15 with a 9.4. Welsh Jack around the last two corners. His teammate Patrick in P13. I don't think he's going to be able to improve. No, Patrick goes up to P7. Welsh Jack crosses the line and does take back provisional pole. And it's only AQ Flow left in the running, but he's gone into a wall. So that's going to be it for his qualifying session. Orlando into the pits, and one more Haas left. Degamaster also into the pits. That's it for qualifying. And it is Welsh Jack who is on pole, but Trixjan starts alongside him on the front row with an incredible 8.433. Only 200 separating those two, and then Fridge and Jamie will be on the second row. B Ford and Adam on the third, then Patrick, then AQ Flow, Cons, and then Eastgroove, Orlando, Tom, Broxy, Inertia, Rexy with that 5-place grid penalty. He'll be demoted to P16. Then Sub, then Zach, then Degamaster. So Dweezy will go up to 15, Inertia will go up to 14, so on and so forth. That was an exhilarating qualifying session. There are your results, ladies and gentlemen. very close. You can see 610s separating the top 9 from Welsh Jack all the way down to Kantz in the AlphaTauri. Then we have East Groove, who just about beat out his Scandinavian rival, Rexy. Rexy, of course, will be starting P16 due to his grid penalty that he acquired due to collision with Fridge. Fridge in P3 in the Alpine, a very solid start to his career as a Tier 1 driver. And other than that, a pretty standard grid, of course, with the reserves. That's not Patrick, that's Partick in the Ferrari. I don't know. Maybe I'll root for him. Maybe I will. So 36 laps of racing here at Zandvoort. Who will come out on top? Only time will tell. I'm just going to check something real quick. The formation lap is on, so I'm not going to be caught off guard by and the formation lap is underway here. We can take the time to plug our lovely sponsors, as well as take a look at tire strategies. So everybody's starting on a hard or medium tire compound, except for Zach, and I don't know what he's doing in the softs. So Zach's on the softs. So Rexy, everyone below P12 except for Zach starting on the mediums, Inertia starting on the mediums, Tom on the mediums, AMS Partick in the Ferrari, splitting strategies with Welsh Jack. Everyone in the top 11 using hards except for, of course, Partick. I don't know. I would like to call him Patrick. Just easier to say than Partick. I don't know. Apologies if I butchered your name, unless you're Rexy, then I don't care. But in the meanwhile, let's take a look at some of our lovely sponsors. 3D Wrap, your premium destination for high quality sim racing mods. Use code CRF5 at checkout for 5% off any product. We've got Pit Lane Prints as well. We have a code there, CRF, for 10% off. They're really nice guys, really good high quality material if you want to get like posters and stuff like that. Again, that's Pit Lane Prints, PRINTS. Of course, we have our energy drink sponsors, Rogue Energy and W Energy, both of them there, code CRF for 10% off. And then, of course, we have our Fiber, NordVPN, and Streamlabs Ultra affiliate links. And, yeah, you can see they're going on the bottom left. Our lovely sponsors. And Adam doesn't know how to park an F1 car. Shame on him. Neither does Inertia, apparently. So everyone is parked in. Let's get ready to rumble. Lap 1 of this Grand Prix, and it said East Group was in P1 for whatever reason. 5 red lights. And it's lights out, and away we go here. Welsh Jack gets away well, but Trickshan's going to pull alongside him. Fridge with a good start as well. Could rival for P2 in the Alpine. Welsh Jack stays ahead. B Ford staying ahead. East Groove down to P12. Inertia down to P16. And East Groove down to the back of the grid. Looks like he's had a collision with Broxy there. Yellow's in Sector 1. Welsh Jack stays in the lead. And Fridge jumping Trickshans for P2. And now Ron B Ford looking to secure a place on the podium as Jamie's down to P5. Partick has jumped Kantz for P6 on the medium tires. And East Groove down all the way to the back of the grid now. That's not going to be good for him. It's now Ron B Ford all over the back of Trixjans. Possibly a move down into this corner for Partic, but he parts off the Mercedes. Adam also challenging for P7. Tom making an overtake on Orlando to get into the points there. That's a Ferrari. Oh, and they've come together. That's a Red Bull. That's Zach that's come together with Adam. And now they're down. They've lost quite a few positions. And D-Weezy up to P10. Orlando up to P9. Zach back up to P11. I'm not exactly sure what happened there. A couple of these drivers going 3-4 wide down the straight, and the Red Bull of AQ Flow is going to stay ahead, but the Alfa Romeo of Wheezy down the inside takes P10 from Zach. And inertia all over the back of Zach as well, trying it around the outside. And Rexy's been spun. Sub up to P13 as the McLaren of Rexy spins and loses 2 positions to now Broxy as well, and Tom down to P17, overtaken by East Groove as well. And now he's going to face a challenge from Adam and Zach on those softs that seem to work for him for now, as he's gained a lot of positions at this chaotic start of the race. D-Weezy looking to overtake Orlando in the Haas as well. And the front of the grid, it has stayed basically the same as it was last lap. And Zach definitely not letting the pressure off D-Weezy either. The gap 1/10 there, possibly a lunge down the inside, but he refrains from doing so, as we'll have DRS open next lap, lap 3 of this race. And Fridge taking the fastest lap on the hard tires, putting the pressure on Jack, and Trixchance behind him doesn't have DRS. And here comes Zach down the main straight. He's going to pull alongside D-Weezy and send one down the inside, and it looks like he's taking the position unless D-Weezy can fight back. But it doesn't look like it. D-Weezy in the Alfa Romeo, maybe a chance here into turn 4, and he's letting off the gas there, but he's going to take the inside line. But Zach is going to stay ahead on those soft tires with the better grip. AQ Flow falling back from Kantz. Kantz is 2.5 seconds ahead of him. And now with DRS open, we're going to see a lot of things possibly start to change. And Kantz, I think, slipping up there. He lost a bit of time to Partic ahead, and AQ Flow gained a bit of time. Now, possibly down the main straight, Ron Beeford is only a couple tenths back on Trixchance. He started in the front row. He's lost the position, but he's still on the podium. Ron Beeford 4 tenths back. Could he possibly try and make a lunge into turn 1? It looks like he is going to be too far back, though, but he's gained a couple tenths on the straight, and he's going to keep the pressure on that Aston Martin for sure. Tom overtaking Degamaster. Degamaster slipping down the pecking order as he's gone into the pits. Possibly some wing damage. That's going to promote everyone a place or 2. Inertia chasing D-Weezy as well. Broxy overtaking Tom. And East Groove very much so in that battle. You can see the gap there, 2 tenths, possibly ready to overtake the Aston Martin. And not much really happening here. Maybe AMS Partic. He's rather close to Jamie. He's the closest anyone is other than Ron Beeford. Ron Beeford actually maybe down this straight. We could see a few overtakes happen. The gap here is only 2 tenths. You can see how close they are. And he sends one down the inside of turn 13. What an overtake by Ron Beeford. And he is going to have the DRS. So he's going to be able to keep that position easily. And now Jamie is going to probably pounce on a vulnerable Aston Martin ahead of him, maybe sending one down the inside, but he's not getting enough traction. And Partic behind him as well. They almost bang into each other. Inertia finally overtaking D-Weezy as well, but the gap is still very volatile there. Adam overtaking Broxy. And Ron Beeford has pulled off an incredible overtake there to secure P3. But could AMS Partick upset the flow of things as he sends one down the inside of Jamie? The Mercedes stays ahead, but the Ferrari is going to have the DRS advantage down this short straight. Can he pull alongside? No, he can't. Maybe it's that he's running a bit higher wings, but he wasn't able to really gain that much. Still definitely putting the pressure on Jamie for that P5 position. And down this straight here, it's a big possibility that he could use a bit of an overtake here. And Partick using his overtake down the straight. He's going to make the move before turn one. No, they're going to go too wide through turn one, but it looks like it's the Ferrari that's going to go. And Jamie hits the back of the Ferrari, causing him to go into the barriers. He loses out to Kantz, AQ Flow, Orlando, Zach, and Inertia as well. So Inertia up into the points now. And Sub's gone around him. D Weezy's gone around him. He's down to P13. Now Trixjans fighting B Ford for P3, trying to salvage maybe a podium here, trying to reclaim that position that he had a lap or two before. Zach doesn't know what he's doing either. Yeah, I've clocked that he doesn't know what he's doing. Couple weeks ago. And here comes the main straight. Trixjan 0.6 of a second back and rapidly gaining on the McLaren ahead. He's going to pull alongside him as well, but way too far back to make a move. He's gained about 0.3 there, but he's going to have to keep within that distance if he wants to make an overtake feasible in these next coming laps. And it looks like he's actually missing out a bit through Sector 1, just lost a 10th or so there. Partick overtaking D Weezy, so we could see a strong drive back from Partick as he sits in P12. Now his next target looks to be subtitled, and he's gaining on the Mercedes already. And he is on the medium compound tires, so same as those of the ones ahead of him. And Tristan's still not enough. He's gotten closer. I admit that, but still not close enough to make an overtake on the McLaren ahead. McLaren really benefiting from a good selection of reserve to replace KF1. He couldn't race today. They've gotten themselves Ron B Ford, whoever the hell this is, and he's lighting it up at the moment. But Trixjan's now closely following him, closer than he's ever been to the McLaren in the last couple of laps. On lap 8 here. And Trixjan's a solid exit out of the corner for B Ford, so it doesn't look like he'll face any danger down this little straight. But possibly now down the main straight. 0.5 the gap again between these two. And Fridge as well, you can see him in the ahead of the McLaren there, still keeping up with Welsh Jack. The gap's 0.3 there. Trixjan's not enough time again to send one down the inside. 1/10 was the gap there at the break in turn 1. And could we see someone else other than Welsh Jack in the lead of the race? Fridge within 0.4 of him ahead. As they round out of turn 9, down this straight, and Trixjan's again too far back to capitalize on the opportunity. 4/10 there. Oh, and what's going on there in the mid-table? Inertia, Partick, and Sub falling down a couple positions as Adam, Dweezy, and Tom gain positions, and it's not a good race for Partick at all, as he's now down to P17. And these guys are very close together. Both Fridge and Trixjans at any moment could pounce on B Ford and Jack, respectively. And B Ford's had a mild skill issue there through turn 3. But Trixjans with a bad exit out of turn 4, losing a bit of time. Not much in terms of overtake left for the Aston Martin, about 30%, as we can see there. A bit more for the McLaren ahead. And again, it seems that this gap is staying the same lap after lap after lap. But B4 may be pulling ahead, inching just a bit. Yellow's in sector 2 there. That's Sub losing more positions. I think that could be a spin. And he's now at risk of being overtaken by Partick. 6/10 the gap there. And Fridge, that scared me a bit. 2/10 was the gap there between Welsh, Jack, and Fridge. Very important here to fuel properly. I'm thinking people are going to be running out of fuel by lap 35 or so. So that could be an issue. Zach, after 9 laps, has called it quits, or 10 laps has called it quits on the soft, and is going into the pits for a 27-lap stint on the hards. He's going to come out in about P16 or 17. Might just said a no-no word there. Actually, even E-Screw is going to beat him. So he's going to come out P18 on the hards, of course, new hards. And once everyone pits, he's going to be higher up in the pecking order, as Dweezy overtakes Tom to make it a 9-10 for Alfa Romeo. I'm sure Welsh Jack is surprised at how someone's still keeping up with him. We should just call this at this point the how much is Welsh Jack going to win by Grand Prix. But it looks like Fridge is relatively close here and could even pounce down the straight. I think if any a time, it's going to be now. And could Fridge take the lead, steal it from the Ferrari of Welsh Jack, and down the straight they go. And it is going to be Fridge who breaks Welsh Jack's streak of leading 11 laps. And at the moment, it is the Alpine ahead, and the Alpine is leading the race. Just like in Tier 2, an Alpine won here at the Netherlands. Could it be the same in Tier 1? And Fridge now making a gap, 3/10, and Tom fighting Dweezy here. But this is much more important. Welsh Jack definitely wanting to reclaim that position and putting on the pressure still. 2/10 is the gap. And actually, look at that. Fridge with a lot more overtake than Welsh Jack. Welsh Jack usually fairly good at managing his ERS, but I'm sure he's had to dump a lot on the straight to avoid being overtaken earlier. And now a lot of this is going to come down to strategy as well. We're nearing the pit window in a couple of 5 or 6 or 7 laps. And what's going to work? The undercut, the overcut? We're going to have to find out. Welsh Jack now 4/10 back on Fridge. And will he try to make an overtake down the main straight again? Let's see. He's gaining a bit on the Alpine, similar to how it was last lap, but it was the other way around. Fridge not even caring to use his ERS to defend. Welsh Jack is not going to make a move into turn 1. I'm sure he had the pace, but he's going to back off from Fridge, and it's going to be a lap lead for the Alpine here. Yeah, it's really interesting. I mean, Fridge, in his first race, started P3 on the grid, now up into P1, and is leading the race. I don't want to say comfortably, but is leading the race. That is for sure. Yellow in sector 2. That is a Aston Martin. I think that was Tom. That could have been. Or no. That was Trixjans. Trixjans had a skill issue in sector 2. And now Trixjans has lost a lot of time to B4 and is now under siege by Jamie in the Mercedes, who lost a position at the start and could gain one now and move up to P4. Down the main straight they go. Welsh Jack using his DRS and the slipstream provided to him. And again, he's going to back off. Welsh Jack, now his pace is blistering. I will tell you that. But when it comes to overtaking people, his racecraft is not that good. Let's leave it at that. There's a good word to describe him that I don't know if I can use on stream, but he's putting the pressure on now on Fridge. 1/10 was the gap there, so maybe not. Maybe commentator's curse. Jack's first time using DRS. Yep, you're right. And Degamaster somehow picks up a 3-second time penalty at this track. Jeez, I don't know. It's like Netherlands is the last track where you think anyone would pick up a time penalty. Welsh Jack gaining a bit on Fridge here, but I do expect any overtaking to be happening down that little straight. Sheepshagger. Yeah, the Sheepshagger is no longer in the lead of the race as we head into lap 15. Some of the guys on mediums might start to pit. Maybe this lap, maybe next. And it looks like Welsh Jack has enough to make an overtake here down the main straight, and they're going to be Welsh Jack back in the lead of the race. Not going to be too wide through turn 1, but I'm sure Fridge is going to be aching to get back at Welsh Jack. And he's putting on the pressure, getting very close there through turn 4, backing off a bit, losing himself a 10th or so, and Cons overtakes AQ Flow for P6. And AQ Flow, oh, look at that, AQ Flow has had a skill issue and is down to P8. Look at Adam behind him as well, trying to make up time there. The gap 1.2, 1.1, 1 second is the gap ahead. So AQ Flow is going to hope he's not going to lose out. And Jack, maybe he's putting his big boy pants on now because he's pulled away about 7/10 from Fridge. Of course, the Alpine still in his DRS range in lap 15 now and gaining a bit of time as well. But it'll need to be within 3/10 of the Ferrari if he wants to make an overtake on the main straight. And he's going to need to work that gap a bit, and Adam does make that set overtake on Flow. AQ Flow, I mean, he was P2 in the World Championship last season, only lost by a couple points, and now he's fighting for P8, P9, so well, maybe we'll have to see a big comeback from him in the later stages of the season, but at the moment, it's not doing good for him. And almost a Ferrari sandwich of the grid. Welsh Jack in P1, his teammate in P18, but that doesn't really tell the full story. He's gotten very unlucky with a couple collisions and crashes earlier on in the race. AQ Flow actually going into the pit, so I think he might have picked up wing damage, which is why he was losing time. He's going to come out near the back of the grid along with Patrick and maybe East Groove. Yeah, Inertia overtakes him. Rexy into the pits. Rexy's going to be the first to pit. Broxy follows him behind, and Subtitled follows him as well. So they're all going to call it quits for the mediums after 15 laps. AQ Flow is going to be on the mediums for 20 or so laps. So I'm not seeing any real potential for him to score big points here. And Rexy's going to overtake Broxy in the pit lane as well, I think. Let's take a look at where these guys come out. Broxy, yeah, so Broxy might have had to fix his wings, so he's going to fall down a couple positions. East Groove up to P13, Inertia up to P11. Inertia, Wheezy, Tom, and Partic still have to pit on the mediums. Everyone else is on the hards. Broxy's gone into the pits, or coming out of the pits now, and he's going to be quite a few seconds ahead of Degamaster, who's gone back into the pits to get on the mediums for 20 laps. Hope that wasn't too confusing, but Jamie actually now within 4/10 of Trixjan. So Trixjan's going to be ruining that mistake through turn 7. I think he might have just beached himself there. Really easy for that to happen. It's a really killer curb as Fridge keeps up with Welsh Jack for another lap. And Inertia has gone into the pits finally after 16 laps, and he's picked up a 5-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane. And Partic has also picked up a 5-second time penalty from speeding in the pit lane. He's seen Inertia do it. Monkey see, monkey do. And he's picked up a 5-second time penalty as well. That puts him on the list with Degamaster of the guys who have time penalties 6/10 the gap between Fridge and Welsh Jack. Maybe Jamie's a bit closer. No, he's not. It appears to be 5.5 tenths back on Trix Jans. But Fridge, yeah, consistently gaining 2 to 3 tenths on this straight here. Just loses the rest of it through the rest of the lap. So I think it's really going to come down to strategy here. Tom and Wheezy really stretching those mediums, and Wheezy stays out. I think that's Wheezy. No, it's not Wheezy. That was his teammate. Let's take a look at these guys. Are they going to be going into the pits? Tom stays out of the pits, surprisingly, and Wheezy does go into the pits. So Tom really stretching those mediums. Wheezy doesn't pick up a time penalty. And now it's going to be Tom, the last of the mediums. Zach up to P10 on those hard compound tires. I think he might actually even be close to the lead of the race when he comes, when everyone pits, when all is said and done. AQ Flow with the fastest lap for now on those young mediums. He's going to take that fastest lap and hold on to it for as long as he can, as Inertia fighting Rexy, I think here. Not sure what's happened. Yeah, Inertia fighting Rexy, so they're going too wide through turn 3. It's going to be Inertia who stays out ahead of Rexy, touching the back of that Williams a bit. He's going to be forced to back off. And Welsh Jack doing the undercut. Same thing with Beeford, Trix Jans, and Fridge staying out. So Fridge back in the lead of the race here. Rexy still putting the pressure on the Williams driver ahead. And he's going to go down the inside here, but he's going to have to back off. I thought he had a little bit more on Inertia there, but Inertia is going to stay ahead through this portion of the track, possibly maybe a move down the inside or down this straight here. Rexy's going to have DRS here, so Trix Shane's got into the pits, Kant's got into the pits, and Tom got into the pits, and it's going to be Rexy who makes the overtake down this back straight here, but it's going to be a double stack for Aston Martin. So no, they've just about lined it up, but both Aston Martin drivers had gotten into pits at the same time. So Fridge, Jamie, and Orlando in a podium position at the moment, are the ones who have not pitted. Inertia looking to make a move back on Rexy down the straight, and it looks like he's going to be able to get it down the inside of turn 1. Goes the Williams of Rexy. Rexy's going to leave the space. He's going to try and go around the outside with the outside line, but it looks like Inertia just about gets his nose ahead, and this is a battle of the ages. Oh, and he's tried it down the inside, and he's touching the Williams, and they've almost spun there, and that's very dirty from Rexy. I no idea what he's doing there. Almost spinning Inertia. Inertia doing well to keep his car straight. And Rexy all over the back of him. That he should be penalized for that. Fridge, Jamie into the pits, and the battle for P14 continues as Rexy puts some pressure on, and Welsh Jack in the lead of the race. He's going to come out ahead of Fridge, but just barely, about a second between those two there. And Beeford actually has done a very successful undercut there. Let's go to them. Screw this. 3/10 is the gap between these two, and Beeford could possibly end Fridge's hopes of winning this race. Inertia stays ahead of Rexy for now as they head down the back straight there. You can see on the mini-map. And Beeford putting the pressure on the Alpine of Fridge, and Welsh Jack is going to be the one who benefits the most from this, as he's going to allow him to pull away. Inertia does get overtaken by Rexy down the back straight, and they're fighting still through turn 3 and turn 4. So it's a very interesting battle. And B4 now, the gap 1/10, but it's really hard to overtake through turn 12. I mean, it really is commendable if you can pull an overtake off there. But B4 now looking to make the overtake down the straight, and with the DRS, it could very well be a reality as we head into lap 20 here. B4 has his rear wing open, and he is going to overtake the Alpine down the straight. The Alpine cannot really resist, and he's going to demote him to P3. But of course, he's still got the DRS and the ERS advantage. Adam, after 20 laps on the hards, goes into the pits, and Eastgroove, the last one to pit today. Unless he's already pitted, I'm not sure. I don't think he has. But he's the one, if not to not have completed his pit stop strategy. And Inertia still fighting Rexy, as he's seen to make an overtake there on the McLaren, and Inertia and Rexy takes the lead back. This is like Battle of Mid. You know that one meme, Battle of Mid? Like it's Battle of Midway, but they just cut off the way and it's Battle of Mid. All right, 7/10 is the gap here. Let's go watch Rexy and Samelia fight, or Inertia fight. And B4 takes the fastest lap here as Inertia looks to take back P14 from Rexy, possibly down the straight here. The gap between them 3/4 of a second. And if not here, then on the main straight, Inertia looking to gain on Rexy. And he's gained about a tenth or two down this straight as they head through 12 and 13. Partick behind them. And can Inertia stage an overtake down the main straight? He's already gained 1.5, 2/10 on Rexy. And it is going to be Inertia who pokes his nose ahead of Rexy. And this battle has gone on for 3 laps now. And it is Inertia who is ahead at the end of lap 22. So we'll go back to Fridge as well in a minute. I think they actually, look at this. There's a lapped car in there. Yeah, it's Degamaster who's lapped. He's going to have to let Fridge by. Fridge gaining on B4 a bit, but unable to really capitalize. So Degamaster has been lapped by the top 3. And Rexy's lost out a bit of time to Inertia. He's opened up the gap to 5/10 here, but we could see another overtake by the McLaren down the main straight. B4 is actually catching Welsh Jack ahead. So now that he's not really having to fend off any attacks from Fridge keeping up with him. And B4 does look to be a bit faster than Welsh Jack. And Inertia's going to move off his line, but doesn't really need to. Maybe Rexy around the outside. Looked like he had a bit of traction there. Unable to pull the move off. This is unironically the most interesting thing that's been happening all race. Well, up to now. Other than Fridge leading the race, this is actually the most interesting thing that's happened all race. And East Groove is still out on the hard. I have no idea what's going on. He's 22 laps on the hards, man. Whoa, what's going on there? As Tom overtakes Zach for P10. So it's going to be both Aston Martin drivers in the points. And B4 actually very close to getting into Welsh Jack's DRS range. So he's catching without DRS from the Ferrari ahead, and we could see a McLaren winner here, a surprise McLaren winner, like in real, well, they didn't win in real life, but they almost did win in real life at Silverstone. And it looks like Inertia is going to stay ahead for another lap. The gap is 5 to 6/10 as they head down the main straight. Yeah, oh, wait a minute, Rexy's had a skill issue, and Partick overtakes Rexy. And now it's going to be Partick fighting Inertia for P14. It's going to be the 2 guys that have the penalties. Of course, they will be applied after the race. And East Groove is still on the hards. Yeah, he's still on the hards. That's all I have to say. So B4 now within the DRS range of Welsh Jack. This is where things start to get interesting, because we know that if Welsh Jack, at this rate, if Welsh Jack's going to get overtaken by B4, I don't think Welsh Jack's going to be able to get back into the lead. But B4 with very little overtake, and even Welsh Jack doesn't have much either. It's going to be Fridge who comes out of the top 3 with the most of that. And look at that. The gap is 4/10. B4 is definitely the fastest driver on those mediums right now. And is East Groove finally going to find out here on CRF Live, actually. Yeah, there's no chance. Oh, God, I just missed B4 overtaking Welsh Jack. That's great. Yeah, he has pitted. Yeah, and Rom B4 has taken a surprise lead as now Fridge is looking to overtake Welsh Jack. Of course, Welsh Jack is going to have the DRS ahead, but I'm thinking Rom B4 is going to pull away like crazy, and he's already made a 7/10 gap. Fridge has the 1 lap advantage of tire wear, and of course, he's Welsh Jack's Ferrari, so, you know, for tire wear, that's not great. Welsh Jack's gaining on Ron B. Ford, but he's not going to be enough to send a move down into turn one. And really, the Ferrari braking very early. And this is what I was talking about earlier. Yeah, I'm sure it's fuel issues for Jack. Oh, I'd love to see the fuel issues at the end of the race. But these guys, the top three, now within 5/10 of each other. This is the closest Formula One race since before Max Verstappen or Lewis Hamilton or Michael Schumacher existed, or Ayrton Senna for that case. And you can see there, I think they're about to lap Broxy as well in the Alfa Romeo. And Rom B. Ford pulling away a bit. Fridge maybe looking to make an overtake down the straight. Look at how close he is to that Ferrari, and he's holding the position for now. And he's going to get the rear wing open. Of course he is. But Rom B. Ford also gets the rear wing open due to Broxy, and AQ Flow has been disconnected or something. It says he's left the session, so it's going to give everyone ahead of him or behind him an advantage now, as Fridge could possibly try and make an overtake down this straight here. And Ron B. Ford is no longer going to get DRS, and Fridge does end up clipping the curb a bit. Could Welsh Jack try to get one back on B. Ford as we head into lap 27 now? But no, everything stays the way it is. That is for now, of course. As Broxy's out of the picture, but East Groove is up next. I believe he's actually in there. Or is he? No. East Groove's up next, but he's far ahead. So Zach's actually pitted as well. I think he's gone for the medium. So Zach's gone for a two-stopper now. AQ Flow's gone into the pits. I don't know if that's to retire or not. Degamaster with another 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. That's going to put him on 6. And Inertia up into P10 due to AQ Flow leaving, or going into the pits at least. And Fridge desperate to make an overtake here. And I'm sure B. Ford is as well. I mean, I think on pure pace, Welsh Jack's probably a bit faster than Fridge. So I'm not sure if, well, B. Ford definitely wants him to start fighting. I don't know who he wants to see in his rear view mirrors, as we have 10 laps here, or 9 laps left of this Grand Prix now. And the gap between everyone in the top 3 still under half a second as we go down the main straight here. But Welsh Jack doesn't really seem to be catching B. Ford by that much. He's caught him by about a second, or a tenth of a second, sorry. But nothing really more than that. AQ Flow is back, but he's lost quite a few positions, so he's going to end up having to try to make them back. And Fridge actually losing out a bit to Welsh Jack now. And yeah, I love to see this game. This game is incredible. I have no idea what's just happened with the scoreboard. It says East Groove's in P5. Yeah, it says he was in P1. Yeah, I don't know what's going on here. All right, we're just gonna ignore that, and we're gonna continue with the top 3 fight, as Ron B. Ford is still in the lead of this race. He's gonna add on to his total of laps led. Pardix left the session. I don't know. I genuinely don't know what's going on here. But Welsh Jack now 3/10 the gap in front of him to the McLaren. Behind him, it is 6/10. Trix Chance 10 seconds back. He's not going to be interrupting that fight anytime soon. Other than that, not much action going on here. Adam 1 second back to Kantz, and Welsh Jack, if he wants to pick up his first race win this season, he had a throttle issue at Jesus Christ. He had a throttle issue at Imola, which cost him the win. And AQ Flow picks up the fastest lap of the race. I'm really sorry about this. I don't know what's going on here. It's a EA try to make a good game challenge impossible. And Welch Jack possibly down the straight. Could he try and make an overtake? 3/10 the gap. It's a very short straight. I love this aerial view of the cars together. I really just can't put together where everyone is because of the scoreboard or the leaderboard, I guess, whatever you want to call it. And now possibly Welsh Jack is within striking range of the McLaren ahead. And could it be down the straight? He's not using his overtake. He's choosing not to. And the gap remains 2/10 for Welsh Jack. Ron B. Ford stays ahead for yet another lap as he fends off attacks from the Ferrari and the Alpine behind. And all right, it looks like it's trying to fix itself, but I don't know. It's just terrible. AQ Flow again with the fastest lap point. It says he's in P18. I don't know. Broxy's gone into the pits, or at least that's what it says. Doesn't show that for me. It says, yep, he's changed for the softs. All right. So Broxy going into the pits to change for the softs with 5 laps remaining. He's down near the back of the grid, so he's going to try possibly for the fastest lap point. He's going to come out ahead of that's a Mercedes and the McLaren that's subtitled, and Rexy is going to come out ahead of those guys, or well, lapped person-wise, going to come out ahead of those guys. And I think that's East Groove unlapping himself. Welsh Jack 4.5 tenths back. This is very confusing. Let me actually just check something if something's going on, because the leaderboard is fucked. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it says some people are disconnecting. It looks like the top 3 are still fine. For me, 5 laps remaining of this race could see potentially a restart. If not, then just something in terms of the race changed. But yeah, but everyone's just teleporting everywhere. Or at least for me, I don't know if that's the case for the drivers. As we go down the back straight now, these 3 have done an incredible job of keeping themselves together. That's going to be another car unlapping. I think that's going to be a Red Bull AQ Flow. Just looks so much faster than these guys at the front. I'm not sure. I think that's just because of the tire advantage, but still blisteringly fast, pulling away from the front few. And down the back straight, down the main straight, they head again. And Fridge has actually made up a bit of time to Welsh Jack, but now Welsh Jack is gaining to Ron B. Ford, and he still doesn't use his overtake. Ron B. Ford, and looks like they're going rather slowly through that corner. Even Yellow's in sector 2 there. That was an Alpha Tauri going slowly. And yeah, I'm not sure if this is actually even the correct standings or not, but if it is, then I think it actually is, but it was screwed up for quite a bit. And Welsh Jack within 2/10 now of Ron B. Ford. That's another Ferrari. That's going to be Patrick trying to unlap himself. And I'm not sure if that's just because they're that much faster with the new compound tire, because it says Patrick's on a 15 lap old tire, yet he's absolutely dominating the front 3 when unlapping them, or if that's just because again, everyone's glitching around everywhere. The gap has now shrunk down to 4/10 compared to 5/10 where it was at before this straight. As Welsh Jack looks to pounce on Ron B. Ford, but I think he is too far back for that, gaining a bit of time on the McLaren, but the McLaren is staying ahead. 3/10, it's shrinking a bit, the gap to 2/10, but Welsh Jack is not going to send a lunge down the inside, too far back for his liking, as Inertia looks to overtake Subtitled for P10. Of course, he does have that time penalty, so that'll demote him to P11, back to where he was previously. And yeah, again, I don't know. I think there's something wrong with like the lapping system in this game, or I don't know. But 3 laps remaining here. We are on lap 34. Next lap will be the penultimate lap of this race, and Welsh Jack actually closer to Ron Beeford than he has been in any of the last couple laps. If he is going to pounce, it is going to have to be soon, because 2.5 laps remaining, and it could be a Welsh Jack almost certain win. Started from P1, and it's now taken by Ron Beeford. Ron Beeford only has to survive 2 more laps of attacks. He's got about 50% of the ERS left in the tank as these tires start to get old. 16 and 15 laps for the mediums for everyone. But Welsh Jack, he's going to have to claw back the position. And I'm sure the attacks from behind aren't going to stop either. As Ron Beeford pulls away here a bit, Welsh Jack goes off his line. Fridge maybe trying around the outside to overtake to end Welsh Jack's hopes of winning the race. Welsh Jack's going to leave him room, and they're 2 wide now through turn 2 and through turn 3, and it looks like the Ferrari stayed ahead, but down the inside goes Fridge into turn 4, and the Alpine comes out ahead of Welsh Jack, and he's going to take P2 from the Ferrari, demoting him to the final place of the podium. And now it looks like it's all but Beeford's race to win. If Fridge can catch up to him in 2 laps, then it could be his. Fridge had led the race earlier, but now it is the McLaren who's leading the race. And Ron Beeford looks on his maiden race to take his maiden victory, but it could be stolen by Fridge. Same thing for him. I'm not sure if he reserved earlier this season. I don't think he is. The gap is 0.9. He's going to have to burn overtake if he wants to stay in the DRS zone. And of course, Welsh Jack's going to look to take the position back. Yellow's in sector 1. That's a crash from a Ferrari. That's Partick, sorry. And I don't know why it's not updating the gaps, but I don't think Fridge is not. I don't think he's going to get DRS down this back straight here, and that could leave him very vulnerable to Welsh Jack. And as we head into the last lap of the race, it is almost certainly Ron Beeford who's going to end up winning this. But Ken Welsh Jack, this could be his last opportunity to overtake, and no. And Fridge, with no DRS, stays ahead of Welsh Jack. And I don't know why it's saying Welsh Jack's in the lead of the race. It's Ron Beeford, most certainly, that's in the lead of the race. And Fridge has maybe caught up to him a bit. It is the last lap, so there's no room for mistakes for anyone here. And these 3 have been close as nails for the entire race. They were no more than 3 seconds apart in total, no matter what position they were in, and they all took their share of leading the race. At first, it was Welsh Jack, then Fridge took a hand at it, then Welsh Jack took it back from him, and it is Ron Beeford who looks to have taken the win from Fridge and from Welsh Jack. And I mean, it says they have taken the checkered flag. I mean, there was still a lap left for everyone, so I'm just going to take it from here. I'm going to say that this was the last lap of the race. Partick takes the checkered flag. Broxy takes the checkered flag. Wheezy and Degamaster take the checkered flag as Trixjans takes P4, and it's going to be this order. Don't know why it's saying Welsh Jackson P2. Trixjans taking P4. Jamie taking P5. Adam takes P6. Kantz is in 7. Orlando behind him. Tom is going to take P9. Inertia is going to cross the line 10th. But it is going to be East Groove who takes P10 for now, at least. That's what it says for me. Zach and Subtitle, and Rexy's going to be the last to take the checkered flag. So it's a very scuffed lobby. I don't know. I think Rexy's actually maybe run out of fuel here. This was a really, really scuffed lobby. Yeah, we apologize for the bugged screen like delay. I don't know what was going on there. Just made it a bit hard to commentate, but congratulations to Rom B. Ford on winning the race. I'm going to go based off of the assumption that Fridge took P2 and Welsh Jack took P3, even though it says it's the other way around. And Rom B. Ford, for me, I think he's the driver of the day. We're going from P4 to P1 on the grid into McLaren, beating out both Fridge and Welsh Jack. Welsh Jack, a merciless competitor, we all know, but he was able to overtake him and he was able to hold the position. What a race from Ron B. Ford. I'm sure McLaren will be more than delighted. And there are your provisional standings, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know if any of this is even right or not, but we're just going to go based off the assumption that it is right. And yeah, we'll just hope that next week it's going to be better. No DNS though, so tier 2, learn from that, please. Yeah, also guys, if you are new, please make sure to follow. And we also have our YouTube channel as well, where we post our highlights. And of course, the Discord server. If you want to join and race, we have 4 magnificent tiers. Sorry, we have 3 magnificent tiers and then tier 2 as well. In addition to that, you can race from tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, or tier 4, depending on how fast you are. If you guys want to join, if you guys want to race, then join. If you guys just want to watch, then join as well. Why not check out some of our sponsors as well, and see you guys next week at Great Britain. Tier 3 is going to be on Fridays, tier 2 is going to be on Saturdays, and of course, you're going to be back with me for tier 1 next week at